well, I'll change.
Oh, I got it. It's kind of tricky there. But
Yeah, how do you get them out?
hold on.
Mine need to be.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. All right, that was high energy for a end of a week. That was great. So, my name is Rabbi Dime, and on behalf of the Bethel Board of Trustees, I'd like to welcome you to our Shabbat service. If you're new to our congregation or attending as a visitor, please introduce yourself to me or Amy or anyone else here. Grace is a good person to introduce yourself to. Anyone wearing a badge, and we'd like to give you a more appropriate welcome. So before we start though, please silence your cell phones so they don't go off during the service. And also on your radar, please put in there that we're having a community trip to Israel that's going in February of 2025. So put that on your, it's adults only, trip to Israel. And just remember to look into more information. We have many more events coming up, and more detailed information can be found in the pamphlets and on our Tuesday email bulletin. But if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And if I don't know the answer, I can find out who does. So once again, it is great to have you here to celebrate Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We are going to begin on page 128, 128, with Hine Matov. הנה מה טובו מנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טובו מנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. And now, as we move into Shabbat and do some of our lighting of the candles and saying of the Kiddush, that is how we signal that we are really beginning. I'd like to invite up Grace and Donna and Joy to help us with the lighting of the Shabbat candles and the saying of the Kiddush. And that can be found on page 120, 120. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And now we turn to page 123, 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho Be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'charta Beotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
And now we turn to page 142, 142 for Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And now we turn to page 146, 146. I invite you to rise in body or spirit for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Hu Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated. We turn to page 148, 148 for the Ma'ariv Aravim. Please join together in the English.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars and their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light. transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
And now we turn to page 150, 150. Please join together in the English.
Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
And now I invite you to rise in body or spirit for the Shema. Page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. We'll continue with the Ve'ahavta on page 154, 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, u'kshartam le'od al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot bein einecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uv'isharecha, leman tizkeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, Vitem Kedoshim Lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher Hotzeiti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim. Liot Lachem Lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem Emet. And now we turn to page 159, 159.
Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
And now we look back to page 158 for Michamocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'chodesh, nora tehilot osei pele, nora tehilot osei pele. Malachutecha ra'u v'anecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze Eli anu ve'amru, ze Eli anu ve'amru. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo me'ad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Now we look to page 160, 160. The Hashkivenu is a prayer where we ask God to help us to build a sukkah of peace, a shelter of peace during this Shabbat. And I know it seems like every week I am in need, and from the people I talk to, a lot of us are in need of a sukkah shlomecha by the time we get to the next Shabbat. And so for all of us here, for all of us all over the world, I pray that God will help us to build a sukkah shlomecha, a shelter of peace. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. And now we turn to page 162, 162 for Vishamru. And this is a song, a serious song about covenant, but it's one of my favorite, most upbeat, serious songs that we have in the Jewish tradition. So we're going to get this started with, I know, all the energy that we have left after a long week. Let us join together with Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. And now we turn to page 164, 164, and I invite you to rise in body or spirit for the Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zucher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim v'rofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato l'shenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech memid umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata lahachayot hakol, Baruch ata Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch ata Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. And now we turn to page 175, 175. Please join together.
You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, and our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levarcha b'ira na'avod.
And now we turn to page 177, 177. Please join together.
When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha nocha na'el lahodot.
And now, with everything that we are grateful for, we still pray for peace. And so we turn to page 178, 178 in our books, and we join together in Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai Hamvarech et Amo Yisrael Bashalom. And now, our thoughts turn to those who are in need of healing, whether it is healing of mind, or of body, or of spirit. The congregation is thinking for healing of Jim DeArmond, Pearl Levin, Ron Rappaport, Carol Friedman, Carol Wallace, David Cohen, Carol Solomon, June Van, Rabbi Michael Matchison, Dennis Montagna, Sherry Chait, Jerry Chait, Larry Michaelov, Antoinette Worrell, Linda Chambliss, Judge Frank Caprio, Stuart Rosenthal, Fran Marcus, Howard Silvers, Helene Ben Bassett, Paige Hedrick, Bonnie Yales Gibson, Sue Chataway, Vanessa Warner, Mike Hyman, Jaime Klinger, Carol Mandel, Jane Stewart, Kathy Weiner, Rob Moreland, Harvey Eber, Danny Cohen, Jamie Kinder, Velma Krasenstein, Ben Beltran, David Adler, Belinda Block, Sally Jochim, Randy Kammer, David Friedman, Jeff Mayer, Linda Margolis, Carol Kalnitsky, Sadie Charlotte Schwartz, Roz Block, Dean Vyandaka, and all the Israeli soldiers, all the Israelis still being held hostage, all Israeli soldiers injured in this war, and all civilians injured in this war or any war. Now, if anyone here has a name that they would like to share with the congregation of someone for whom they are praying for healing. We hold all of the names together as a community. I invite you to turn to page 371 for the Mishaberach, and to please rise in body or spirit. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. May those who will not be healed on this earth be blessed with nights free from suffering and days filled with peace. May God grant strength and comfort to those who care for the sick. May God help us to find hope and courage as we face fear and loss. May all who are ill be surrounded by the love of friends, loving companions, family, and community. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. And now that we have prayed for peace and prayed for healing, I invite you to take a few moments for the prayers of your own heart for silent meditation. Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al ko Yisrael, ve'imru Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru Amen. Well, Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. All right. Good energy. Good stuff. So 37 years ago this Shabbat, on the lunar calendar, my older brother Josh had his bar mitzvah. Now, I only remember bits and snatches from this bar mitzvah because such a long time ago. I do remember that it was a very hot day in August. And from there, Josh and I remember things a bit differently. He maintains that our mom made for him. Is that better? All right, there we go. So my older brother's bar mitzvah, and we remember it a bit differently. He maintains that our mom made for him a baked Alaska. And for those of you who aren't familiar, baked Alaska is when you take a huge mound of ice cream and you cover it with meringue, and you bake it in the oven just long enough for the meringue to set without melting all the ice cream. It's definitely a feat. So Josh remembers that my mom made him one, but I maintain that she made one for me a couple years later. Now, it's possible we're both right, but I'm not sure if I can completely vouch for his memory of that about his bar mitzvah. But what I am sure about, what I do remember, larger than a baked Alaska, which has captured my attention since then, is the Torah portion for this week, Re'eh. And the part about the Torah portion that really captured my attention is that God, through Moses, puts before the Israelites blessing and curse, to choose between blessings and curses. Now, I thought about that choice as a 10-year-old, and I thought it was a no-brainer. I mean, who would choose the curses, right? So I envisioned back then this huge restaurant-style menu, half of which was filled with blessings, and half of which was full of curses, and you had them before you, and you had to choose which ones you wanted. I knew which side of the menu I would choose from. Simple, right? At 10 and a half years old, I did not understand the nuances of adult decision-making. I only thought about how easy of a choice that would be between blessings and curses. Things in the adult world are much more complicated. Doing a mitzvah doesn't necessarily lead directly to blessing, at least not in a way that we can always see. Still, that metaphorical menu, though it's more nuanced at this point, is always in front of us for every choice in life, to choose blessing and life, or to choose otherwise. It comes down to choice and time and freedom to wrestle with God and wrestle with ourselves, with our conscience. We are, after all, the people of Israel, the people that wrestles with God. And because of our ancestors and their faith, we became the chosen people, that God chose us for responsibility and to lead by example in this world. Let us have the strength to fulfill our obligations, to meet our highest potential. I know it can seem overwhelming at times, the task of making the world better. And it's comforting to know that we don't have to do it all ourselves. As Rabbi Tarfon, famous rabbi, once said, "It is not entirely up to you to complete the task, but neither are you allowed to desist from it." Or to paraphrase, no one can do everything, but everyone can do something. When I participated several months ago in the Habitat for Humanity type home building that the synagogue participated in, they gave me a hammer and nails and pointed me towards putting up a protective plastic layer on part of the outside of the house. Me and a few other people were on this team. So we had a ladder. We rotated who was on the ladder and who was hammering up. And the other people had support positions. I was very aware while I was there that so much of the house had already been put together. We were already working on the outside of the house. So much of it had been built by others. And it was amazing to me to be continuing this process that so many others had already worked on. And there would be others that would come and do the work after, because they still needed to put in the electrical. So many more miles to go before we sleep on this house. I was honored and humbled to be a part of the process, to do my part. And though I'm no electrician, I could still hammer in some nails. The organizers of this project, Sarah and David, invited me over to the neighboring house, which was already done, just to check out and see what it would look like, see what it looks like when it's finished. The family had not moved in yet, but everything was ready. The electrical was done, the appliances were in, and that freezer was big enough to hold a baked Alaska. So this Shabbat, I hope that we will all take the time to rest and refresh, because the future holds the same rule as it does now, that no one can do everything, but everyone can do something. So we choose to take actions that lead to blessings. Shabbat Shalom. And now we turn to page 678, 678. And I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing the national anthem of Israel, as we sing Hatikva in solidarity with our cousins in Israel. Kol od balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homia ulfate mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo avda tikvatenu hatikva bat shnot alpayim liotam chofshi be'artzenu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim liotam chofshi be'artzenu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim. And now I invite us to turn back to page 586, 586, and to remain standing in body or spirit as I open the ark for the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kagaye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kimishbechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu notei shamayim v'yosed haaretz, umoshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al, ushchinatu zo, Begovei meromim, hu Eloheinu enod, emet malkeinu efes zulato, kakatuv betorato, v'yadat hayom v'hashevota elevavecha, ki Adonai hua Elohim, Bashamayim mima'al, ve'al ha'aretz ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד, אין עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated.
Together
we
on
turn-
page 589. Sorry.
You're good.
I grew up with this one. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever.
And now we turn to page 583. 583. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. Our thoughts turn to those who we remember, whom we have lost. The congregation is remembering those whom we have lost within the last year. Uriel Betzalbel Ben Hinda, Erica Pearl, Anita Perlman, Ellie Reamer, Sydney Morris, Sandra Pachter, Jenny Wolfe, Dean Leeser, Senator Stanley J. Aronoff, Rodney Elk, Alan Hyman, Mary Louise Boyer, Buzzy Klausner, Gregory Wayne Berger, David Dunn, Barry Schoenfeld, Milton Margulis, and David Shaknowski. And we're thinking of those who we lost at this time in years past. Ivan Block, Rose Block, Harvey Cohen, Adele Fischler, Benjamin Fishman, Jules Fishman, Maurice Gaylor, Seidel Goldman, Nina Hodor, Mildred Levin, John Lumar, Marjorie Morris, Hugh Pattison, Sanford Peck, John Pritchett, Miku Radovicki, Carol Reeder, David Safer, Cyril Toker, Jay Uberall, Ava Weinstein, Isidore Weisbach, and Morris Jurgen. If there is anyone that has a name that they would like to share with the community of someone whom they are holding in their hearts that they have lost, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. We hold all of their names together as a community. I invite you to turn to page 598, 598, and to rise in body or spirit for the Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei decho Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'emru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lolmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei kedusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace on high bring comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. Let's turn to page 625 for Adon Olam. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem ko yitzir nivra li'et nasa b'chefzo kol azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado imloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yiyeh b'tifara v'hu echad ve'en sheni lahamshilo lahachbira b'li reshit b'li tachlit v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra v'hu eli v'chai goali v'tzur chevli be'et tzara v'hu nisi umanosli menat kosi b'yom ekra b'yado avkid ruchi v'tishan v'ha'ira v'im ruchi geviati Adonai li v'lo ira. And now we turn to page 603, and I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we say the priestly benediction over all of you. Allow us to say the blessing that the priests at the ancient temple used to say over the Israelites gathered there. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Kain Yehi Ratzon. May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
Kain Yehi Ratzon. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'asem lecha shalom, shalom, shalom.
Kain Yehi Ratzon. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.